Saurabh, tell me, what is it about negotiation that you want to tell us? You know?
I would like to tell you very basic thing of the negotiation, and that is
Uh-huh.
do not negotiate.
Arey, kya bola? Are you sure, Saurabh? You said the right
I
thing?
yes,
We are into a negotiation skills program, and you're saying do not negotiate. I mean, what on earth do you mean by that? Could you please clarify?
right, sir, right, sir. First of all, a very good namaskar to everybody. In this program, sir, I would like to, put an emphasis on this: that do not negotiate. Do not
Uh-huh.
negotiate on what you are trying to give, anyways. In a negotiation, there are always two parties, and there, and you try to negotiate on what you want to take out of it.
Uh-huh.
It's more or less the value. So if they
Okay.
need, then ideally you should, if you get the value, pay the price and do not negotiate. That's the prime rule.
Well, that seems like a good rule. So negotiate on what you want. Is that what you're saying?
Yes,
What
sir.
you want.
Yes, sir.
And we're not here to negotiate on and give away from what we want. That's no kind of negotiation. You have to give away what you want. Is that
Not
right?
at all. पैसा मैं अपना पूरा लेता हूँ.
Uh-huh.
पैसा मैं एक भी नहीं छोड़ता.
At the end of it,
वैल्यू मिलेगी तो मैं negotiate करूँगा. Otherwise,
that's true. So at the end of it, people kind of come back. It comes back to the money situation, more or less, at the end of many a negotiation. Yeah.
see, people shy away from it, sir. Right? 80% negotiation is about money.
Uh-huh.
I think you should be very prudent about it. Should never be shying about the money. What do you say?
No,
You
I
have
think
got
that's
like I
right.
think 65 years of experience, and with your brain, I would say, what do you want to say about it?
Firstly, sort of between you and me, our 60 years of experience, you got to kind of, capture it into 60 minutes. So you better make some kind of a dogged effort to make that happen. No, but
I am sure it will happen, sir.
okay, but the fact is that as far as this wanting to go into a negotiation, you say, okay, this is what I might have to give. It begins to show, and somehow, even before you start, you've lost the negotiation.
Right.
Let me try and share an example with you, about giving. Many years ago, we used to make some components for Maruti. And one day, Maruti called me in and said, Ki, boss, I want a 5% discount. Yeah? 5% ka discount chahiye.
That's a steep one.
It sure was, because Maruti in any case gives very slim margins.
Yeah.
And suddenly tell me and said, listen, I want a 5% discount. So I said, come on, 5%. They said, listen, in the marketplace, we have intense competition. We are having to give discount on the cars that we sell. And unless you don't, kind of participate in it, there's no way in which you can give this discount.
Yeah.
So actually, in trying to give that 5% discount, now that is not what I wanted to give, So I suggested to this gentleman who I was talking to, I was the vendor, I said, come, let's have a cup of tea. So we walked towards the canteen area to grab a cup of chai, and we were walking side by side. And then I tried to tell him, is there any other way, any other solution that you can think of? Koi aur rasta hai? And actually he says, you tell me, So I scratched my head and said this, I need to kind of, find some solution, something that solves their problem and also at the same time doesn't, impact me that adversely. So I said, okay, boss, give me a day to think and I'll come back to you by tomorrow. So next day I went back to him and I said, listen, I've got a solution for you. He says, what's the solution? So I said, listen, I've looked at this component. I had the component, I brought it along with me. It was something called a steering column cover. And I said, have a look at this component. If we can shave off 5 grams of weight from this component, it won't affect the functionality of the product. And even aesthetically, it doesn't, or it won't make any difference at all. So if you allow me to do that,
it's not compromised.
Yeah. So I said, if you allow me to do that, you will win. It'll be okay for me.
Uh-huh.
So he said, are you sure you can do that? I said, let me try. So he allowed me the opportunity to kind of, what we call re-engineer the product. And I went back in 2 months' time. I came back with a component which kind of, I showed it to him and he looked at it. He says, I said, see, have a look at this, sir. So he says, it looks the same. I said, but it isn't the same. So what's the difference? I said, wait. So it's 5 grams cheap, lighter. So, oh, really? And I said, aesthetically, can you make out the difference? So no, it looks the same. He said, wow, that's great. So I said, can you do this? He says, listen, come. We need to talk to the big boss. So he took me to the general manager. The general manager looked at it and says, what is this? So I said, listen, here is the component. I'm going to give this component to you you wanted a 5% discount. I'm going to give you a 7% discount because of this. Have a look at it. He says, it looks good. She says, what have you done? So I repeated the story to him. And guess what? Maruti actually did it not only for me, but they actually did this for every single vendor. And you can check this fact for yourself. I'm telling you the absolute truth. Saurabh.
That's great. That is great.
Saurabh, take a guess. How much money do you think Maruti ended up saving in that first year? Take a guess. A wild guess.
Half guess. I would say 4 or 5 crores. 4 or 5 crores, I'd say.
It was 2.5 times that. Maruti saved in excess of 12.5 crores just by this one little thing.
12.5.
Yeah.
I wonder your first car was Maruti, huh?
I wish they'd given me a little bit more. I could have better bought a bigger car.
Right.
But what is the learning takeout on this, Saurabh? Can you tell me, help me, and for the benefit of all the participants, okay? And may I ask, some of the participants to put out on their chat group, what was the learning negotiation takeaway from this little, real life situation that I just narrated?
Well, I think we should take 15 seconds for the chat to pop up. And
okay, whilst they think about it, what does your thinking tell you?
My thinking around it, sir, that see, when you walk along a person over a chai pe charcha, there is always that angle to the negotiation that happens where you are not sitting across the table, but you are walking in the same direction, thinking about the same solution. What do you say?
Oh, well said. I think that's I mean, that's a good point. See, so often when we negotiate, we sit and talk to people from across the table. You're on one side, I'm the other. Actually, when I went out and took this gentleman, me, and we were walking side by side to go and have a cup of chai, we weren't confronting each other. But I think, a second point that's been so nicely stated, and I can see it, so well stated in the chat group, is everyone's saying it was a win-win.
Let's clap for everybody then. I think everybody understands that.
Absolutely. I'd like to kind of give you a round of applause for that. Okay?
Oh, very good. Very good.
Applause for everyone there.
Absolutely.
A thumbs up for you. So two points. One is what you said was that we were sitting on the same side of the table.
Mm-hmm.
And the other point that you said was, and the audience said was, it was a win-win. Absolutely. Actually, these are two basic, parameters on which any good negotiation should work.
Right.
So that's my listing on saying that do not negotiate on what you have to take, because that's what you want to keep, no?
Right.
If I had given 5% off, I would have got skinned alive. So that's yes, sir. So what more do you want to know?
I think very well put up, sir. Very well put up. I would completely agree to what you have said. There is another angle to it, not exactly that same point. But there are so many young negotiators, and all my life I've been negotiating with one situation or another. So
Yeah.
there's another point to it, you know, negotiation for the first time. Sure, the negotiation is happening. तो थोड़ा सा डर रहता है. There is a little bit of, you know, fall in the confidence. Things like whether I have, you know, charged a big amount. I don't know what will this guy say. Would he talk me, you know, take me otherwise, and all sort of questions that you have.
Yeah.
I would like to put a statement here: never negotiate with yourself.
Okay. What exactly do you mean negotiate by yourself? You can enlarge on that, please.
Right. I will tell you. I'd rather tell you with a story around it.
Oh, good.
When I was very young, I would not say that I'm not too old, anyways. So,
Your white hairs are more than mine.
well, around 15 years ago, sir, I was working in this trading company, and I went for a training. It was my first or second promotion, probably. I had a small team of 3-4 people. There was this guy. He brought a big order, around I would say 50 lakhs.
Wow,
that was a big amount.
Yeah.
50 lakhs of order, and he told me, boss, you know, he came with his payment copy and stuff. जो उसने points मांगे थे, it was very difficult for me. Boss, ये तो मेरी भी ना हैसियत से बाहर है. Let me talk to the big boss. Okay. So I went to my regional head, and then he went to the top boss, and then he requested, sir, ये बड़ा order है और नया लड़का है मेरी टीम में. It happens like that. So boss को मैंने बोला बहुत, please sir कर दीजिए, ऐसा केस कर दीजिए. Okay, चलो नया लड़का है, you know, हिम्मत बनानी है. But it's a big order for 50 lakhs. So he gave price cut. Right. The issue was
no volume at all.
The price that this guy was asking was too steep.
Volume is not hearing. Unable to hear.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Some people are having volume missing. Can we, put it on the chat group if some other people are facing, a sound issue, or is it,
Not from here, sir. In Chennai.
We are getting.
Okay. Can you hear it?
So, sir, Mr. Siddharaman, it could be because of your own connectivity. Then you have to check that out. Yeah. Sir?
Right. I think other people are not having. Most of them says that they're fine.
Okay. Yeah.
True.
Mr. Siddharam, just change your position. Maybe you might get the better signal from somewhere else. Just check, please.
Right.
Yeah.
So coming back to the story, sir. It was.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. So this of mine, he came with a 50 lakh of offer, and I was like not in a position to give him the price that he was asking for. And I went to my boss. Sir, special case ke liye kar dijiye, please. So he agreed. Next day, 10 o'clock in the morning, as we opened the shutter, I was there with my guy. This guy, Gelo ji, haath mila.
So did you get the order?
मैंने दे दिया. So getting the point, sir.
Unable to hear.
Mr. Siddharaman, I think you have a connectivity problem at your location. I find from the chat feedback, the others are able to go through. So you may like to change your position, sir. Here?
I would request anyone who is facing any audio challenges would request to log out and log in. It helps.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Otherwise, absolutely fine, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Right. We are
yes, sir. Yeah.
All right. So what happened?
Yeah.
What happened? 10 o'clock in the morning, the very next day, मैं अपने बंदे के साथ, I was at his doorstep. He said, हाथ मिलाइए, हो गया, do it. This guy offered me the morning tea, everything.
Yeah.
I started the discussion happening, took my papers out, took my calculator from my bag and everything.
Right.
The guy had this very cruel smile on his face. He said, Saurabh, वो तो सर आपने सब कर दिया है श्रीवास्तव जी. मैं तो ये freight का पैसा नहीं दूंगा.
Okay.
I was white as snow.
Okay. Many people ask like that. Yeah.
Top of the list that nice guy. Freight भी नहीं दूंगा और सर ये annual maintenance का ये जो आपने charges लगाए ना ये तो आप भूल ही जाओ.
Oh.
I said okay. I smiled at him. मैंने अपने कागज समेटे कागज समेट करके मैंने अपना कैलकुलेटर रखा और मैं बाहर आ गया।
Really? You left the table.
मेरा बंदा भी मेरे पीछे पीछे चला आया, बेटा ब्लैंक लोग ऑन हिज फेस, बॉस ये क्या कर रहे हो, 50 लाख की डील है।
Okay.
Moment there, you know, I was there तक दरवाजे पे मैं खड़ा हुआ था, तो I was like, he called me, श्रीवास्तव जी, अरे सर आप तो बुरा मान गए। So I went back and I told sir, जो आप मांग रहे हो मैंने आपको दे दिया, अभी मैं कुछ भी नहीं कर सकता।
Yeah, I think that's a valid point, Saurabh. I think, we need to have a cutoff point.
Right.
Beyond which otherwise you're going to be unhappy. You won't be able to service the order.
Right.
And therefore, and somehow, if you give that indication to the other party whilst you're negotiating, he can smell it.
Oh, he does.
He gets the whiff of it.
Yeah.
Mega jati usko. And then what happens is, then he will kind of, work on it. Whereas on the other hand, if you're quite sure that you don't want to kind of give that discount, okay, then, your tone of voice is different. Your way your eyes have dilated are different. The tightening of your vocal system gives you a different indication.
Correct.
This is the body language that he can smell. So therefore, your point is very valid. I kind of, I like what you say, that if you don't like it, then there has to be a point where if you have to, you need to kind of walk away from the situation rather than feel miserable about it for the rest of the life, while you're serving that account. Well said, sir.
Right. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I think this is another point. I hope, the audience, agrees with it. If you agree, put a Y to it. And if you don't agree to what Saurabh is saying, feel free to put a no. Yeah? Okay? Okay. Yeah, I can see a lot of Y's coming up for you. Okay, Saurabh? Yeah.
There is another point, sir. I mean, it is connected to the same point. People are in a less of the confidence. Another thing, they try to make it pretty sweet, where they don't try to, take the full out of it. So, मेरा point ये है कि जब तक मांगोगे नहीं ना, मिलेगा नहीं. You don't ask for it, you will never get it. So that's very, very important thing. I would like to add.
Valid point. Many of us hesitate. कि इतना पूछ लेगा, what will he think?
Right.
Should I ask him? Or is it that he will kind of reject me outside? No, I think you deserve every single rupee that you want, and there is no need for you to compromise on the price. You give him the value, and you are certainly at liberty to demand the price in any negotiation. Well said, sir. I agree with you.
Now there is, as you also mentioned, there is a third side to negotiation. Every time you try to negotiate and you don't see yourself, you coming to this side or that side, believe me, there's a third side. You see, things like when the divisions are not possible, pros and cons are not equal. How do you negotiate that point in time? Why don't you tell them that lovely story where you cannot divide 17?
Oh, I see.
And you tell
okay,
it.
That's a wonderful story. So let me share that with you. Once there was an old man.
That proves the point.
Yeah, there was an old man and he had 3 sons. So, and since he was on his dying bed, he called all his 3 sons together and he says, my wealth is this, 17 buffaloes which I own, and I want to divide these 17 buffaloes between the 3 of you. So he first pointed to the youngest of his 3 sons and he said, listen, since you are still younger, I'd like to give you 50% of my buffaloes are for you. The boy was happy. Then he looked at his middle son and he said, listen, 1/3 of these total 17 is for you. And then he looked at his elder one and he says, listen, you are well established, so 10% of these buffaloes is yours. So unfortunately, the old man, passed away. And the 3 sons got together and said, okay, now we're going to divide up our legacy of these 17 buffaloes. So somebody said, the youngest said, I'm supposed to get half. So somebody said, half of 17? My God, can somebody in the
You need to cut the buffalo,
tell me how much is half of 17? And how do you divide 17 into 2 divided by 2? So it was like, 8.5. So I wonder, how could he take half a buffalo away? Then he looked at the other one, middle son, and says, okay, 1/3 is yours. So 1/3 of that 17, again, same dilemma. So actually they were in a quandary. They said, listen, to kill these buffaloes, it doesn't make any sense. So how do we divide the 17? He says, okay, they went off, there was a guru. Typically, in the olden days, in the villages, everyone has got a guru. So I went to Guruji. I said, Guruji, aap hi bataiye. What is the solution to this? So Guruji was a wise old man, and he said, okay, I have a solution for you. What I'll do is, I'll give you 1 buffalo. So let me add 1 buffalo to your 17. 17 hai, ab 18 ho gaya. He says, now let's see if it divides. So fair enough, the youngest man said, oh, that's easy. 18 divided by 2, I get 9 buffaloes. Thank you very much. And the middle fellow said, I also get, 1/3 of 18 is 6, so I get 6.
Yeah.
And then there is the third fellow, and he says, you are also 10%, so okay, you get 2 buffaloes. So how does it add up? 9, and somebody help me, 9 plus 6 is 15, and 15 plus 2 is 17.
Yeah.
Says, okay, your division is this thing, give my buffalo back. So you need to scratch your head to figure that one out. But the fact is, there is always a third way to look at it. Now let me try and sort of kind of relate this to a practical situation. What is the third way in negotiation? This is a nice story. Okay, I think the practical way is, okay, let's take, for example, you're selling a Mercedes-Benz car. Okay?
Right.
So the customer has to pay the price and he has to pay the EMI. And Mercedes wants to get its value for the brand, the 3-star product that they've created. Okay, and they manufacture that product. It's fully loaded with airbags and sensors and various kinds of gadgetry to it. And he wants, his price. So sort of what is the third side to it? Because that's what people negotiate for. So this car, and you go to a Mercedes, car salesman, and he says, so look at the features of this car, sir. It's got, ambient lighting, and it's got, 6 airbags, and it's got, this and this, and all kinds of loaded features. And the customer
Mercedes,
says, that's the price.
There is always an oomph factor with it.
Okay, so what is that third factor that both of them are missing? Or perhaps the salesperson is missing, or maybe even the person who's buying it is missing. I think the third side, if I may say, is the izzat.
Yes.
The kind of izzat, the respect that you will get when you're driving in a Mercedes-Benz car and you go to a friend's party and you get off from the Mercedes-Benz and everyone looks at the Mercedes-Benz and says, wow, this guy's somebody. Now, did the salesperson sell the izzat? Did the person who bought the car buy the izzat? Well, let me take the situation a little bit, simpler. Let's say I walk into a store and I want to buy myself a nice shirt. Or let's say a suit. So I buy myself a nice suit. So when I buy a suit, what do I look at it? I look at the fit. I look the type of cloth that is there. And of course, I look at the price.
Well, that's
I'm
important.
not such a rich man. Maruti didn't give me a few of those crores. Okay?
Right.
And on the other end, what does the salesperson want? He wants, okay, this is a Louis Phillips, suit, so I want to get this thing for my brand. I need to get the price because I put some good cloth into it. I got this establishment and therefore I'm paying rent. And so I got to pay that. So what's the third side? Is there a third side to this?
The third side is like an izzat, sir. Why do you ask the public?
No, the third side,
I see that.
is the confidence. Sir, yes, suit penega. You look so confident of yourself. Or you're looking so smart. If the salesperson had indicated that to me, I will kind of click my mind and have paid a few, 100 or a couple of, maybe 1,000 rupees more.
Right.
So the fact is that quite often, and I think this third side sort of is what is known as the if I may steal the word from your mouth, pain or gain.
Gain, yes, sir. Very good. Yes, sir. I think it is. I was coming to that. The very, very important thing.
Okay.
I would say, if you know the pain and you know the gain, then you become, you have an upper hand on the. I would say, when you're sitting in a negotiation. It's very, very important.
No, that's right. So we need to kind of, understand every person has either got some pain. Why is he dealing with you? Why is he called you? Why is he called you for a negotiation? Well, he wants something from you that you have. It's solving some problem with his, no? It's a pain point. Or maybe he wants to gain something. He wants to go somewhere. He wants to get somewhere. And that's why he wants that from you. So it's pain or gain. That's
Right.
the third side.
That's a
Many
very
of
important
people miss it.
Right.
Yes, sir. Sorry, you were saying something.
Yes, sir. I was trying to put in a point here that any point in time, people when they are younger in this negotiation, that maturity is not there, then they are not able to see what is hidden. Like when somebody for a negotiation, there is always, especially on that third side, there is a hidden agenda around it. I'll give you an example. Like go to the negotiation and somebody is keep making it really quick for you, right?
Yeah.
That's exactly where you have to check. Why is it making quick to you? Why is this so your negotiation? Are you the only person? Are there not other parties? It does not happen like that. There are always number of quotations,
It's true.
parties. So maybe, I don't know, take a practical example. Maybe आप कहीं कुछ सप्लाई करने गए हैं और उसका पुराना सप्लायर उसको दे ही नहीं पा रहा है. Maybe because of corona, I don't know. Maybe because of any unforeseen thing. The price that you are giving. Yeah.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
so that's why, to win in a negotiation, you need information. If you're fully equipped with the inside information of what is happening, then you are able to kind of know how you need to kind of deal with that situation.
Absolutely.
Am I right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Like here I can see that there is a question in the chat, which is exactly not the time, but I'll take it. It says that if the product is intangible, how do you negotiate? Sir,
Okay.
you answered it right now. It's a very wonderful question. When the product is intangible, you negotiate with the value attached to it.
Well said.
Negotiate with the interest that the other guy has in the project.
Yeah.
It could be intangible, and when most of the case in these days, when the service industry is coming into the picture,
Yeah.
then products are intangible. It's more or less the service. So what do you say, Mukesh?
No, that's
Right?
well said. Actually, to sell an intangible product is perhaps easier. To sell a tangible product, that chap looks at, okay, what is the kind of specification, what is the performance, what is the PHP, what is the torque, what is the kind of, RPM. So, whereas an intangible product, you can sell the value proposition that much more strongly. So that's a valid point. The stronger the value proposition, the easier you're able to handle that. That's well said. I hope people in the audience, if you agree with us, give us a why, and you don't agree with us, then put your question on this thing, and we're happy to take it on. Okay? And maybe if it's a no, then we need to kind of also know. Okay. Yes, sir.
I think a lot of whys are coming. Yes, sir. Whys.
Great. Oh, thank you, sir.
Lovely.
Yeah,
Everybody in the
super.
audience is kind of,
Wonderful.
supports what you're saying. Yes, sir.
Now there is another point to it. I think a
Yeah.
lot of concept has been discussed.
Yeah.
I would like to give you very, very good tactics. Let's start with that, right? So there is one rule, one principle, I would say, not the rule. A rule
Yeah.
you cannot. Principle. I have a principle that I use.
Okay.
Which I never give the first offer.
Uh-huh.
Don't tell the price. That is my principle, sir. Now understand, it's not a rule. People can use it the way they want.
Okay.
People says never give the first, price, and never take the first, price.
Okay. So why do you say that?
So I would like
Can you
to
give us
attach
an
it to a
example?
story. I will
Yeah.
like to attach this to a story, and
Okay.
the real-time one.
Okay.
Long ago, 6 months ago, I
Right.
was in a negotiation of a bid for air.
Right.
And my colleague Nivish Mishra, he's a wonderful guy. He takes care of the negotiations. He's a marvelous guy. He
Okay.
told me that sort of let's do this tender. And
Right.
tender goes, everybody was putting the price, and then it was -1 the price, -2 the price, -3 the price, and we had like 5 minutes in our hand.
Okay.
But I told him, man, we are going to lose this.
Uh-huh.
-10, put it -10, kill it.
Okay. Yeah.
What? The Navy said no. Hold on,
Yeah.
Srivastav ji. Hold on to this horse. No, he lovely. He calls me Dr. Saab. He was like, Dr. Saab, hold on. so my point is that it was happening -1, -2, and then I got a price and -3, and at -3 I lost it. Navy at -6 we won.
Oh.
We won the bid because the time in hand was just 5 minutes.
So you save some money.
We saved 4 points, sir. And this bid
Right.
count. So
I
the
think-
point is, if
Right.
you try to, if you give your first thing, and if you give the price, then you may win the negotiation. But sir, धाकड़ आदमी ऐसे नहीं करता. धाकड़ रखता है. कभी पहला ऑफर नहीं देता. चालू होता है.
Okay. I think, if
That's-
the audience
that's
agrees
what-
with you, I like to see whether they agree with you or not. If you agree with Saurabh, put an S. And if you don't agree with him, you put a no, N. Okay, Saurabh, you got a lot of S's coming up here, sir. Okay, well said. I think, that's a valid point. We should never, need to kind of, go step by step. There's no point in jumping, even if there's enough scope in your pocket. One should order. Saurabh, there's one point that I think that, we need to share with this audience. See, there is also another technique. It's called the laddering technique. Now, let me explain what I mean by the laddering technique. See, very often, like you said, a supplier has options. He's buying from you, but perhaps there is a competitor and he's buying from the competition. Aapse bhi le raha hai, competition se bhi le raha hai. Now, it's not necessary that your product can be number one in every single parameter. Surely, the competitive product also has some pluses. So in which case, let's take an example. Let's say that I go to a client and he says, boss, everything is all right, but the competition is offering me a better price. You equal the price and the order is yours. Okay? On the other end, if you look at your own price position, you're not even the second cheapest, you're maybe the third cheapest, or only you are expensive by quite a bit. There is a big gap.
I would like to interject, sir. This technique of yours,
Yeah.
as you mentioned, the laddering technique, it holds very good with branded products. It could be anything. If field and then you are in the part of selling negotiation of a branded thing, then as I mentioned, your price plays an important, important role here. You are like at length, you are different.
No,
Isn't
sir,
it?
I beg to differ from you a little bit here.
Really?
No, you got a valid point here. See, okay, let's finish this thing in terms of if price is not your winning kind of card, you're
Right.
expensive. So what do you tell the customer? You tell the customer, boss, look at our quality. Our quality is so much better. Look at the durability. Now you go for price, at the end of 6 months, this product got to break down.
Right.
You'll have to spend money. You'll have to, your factory will kind of disrupt your supplies. So are you sure you're looking at price? Isn't quality important? So now let me answer your other question where you said branded. Let's say you are the cheapest and the competitive product is better in quality. Then what do? Actually, then I'll play the reverse card.
Exactly.
I'm gonna give, boss, are you an idiot? Why are you paying so much money to that guy? For that price, I'll give you a warranty, which more than covers it, and you'll still save money. It works both ways, Saurabh.
I
So
think
the laddering technique is actually where you can influence the other person's mind, by changing his thought, by putting your product, parameter in ahead
right.
and put it on top, and let him move his this thing a notch down and make him think. So it's an excellent technique, where because you can't be champion in every single product, no? Yeah, every single parameter. So that's for you to consider. Okay.
I completely agree, sir. Completely. Not only agree, I will rather, tell you the fact that listening technique ना लाइफ में शायद यूज भी बहुत बार करी है. Especially मेरा प्राइस जो है वो सबसे सस्ता होता था.
Yeah.
It was very evident on the other side of the. अरे सर इतना पैसा क्यों दे रहे हो आप?
Okay. I think you have some more suggestions to give us. With all your experience. Would you like to share one or two other some techniques?
One technique more, sir. The program is धाकड़. I think थिएटर को धाकड़ बनाने के लिए एक टेक्निक तो देनी पड़ेगी.
Okay.
This technique that I say is हाथ दे, दोनों हाथ ले ले.
Really? I like that. Tell us how that works.
Negotiation is एक हाथ दे, एक हाथ ले.
That's right. That's what I heard.
एक हाथ दे, दोनों हाथ ले ले. और
How does that work?
भी दबा के ले आ.
बताइए.
So I tell you, sir, what happened. So again, all these things are coming from the practical experiences, whereas there are Bhakna and other technique also. But my things are that this is coming from right from the heart of the cities of Delhi.
Right.
Organization, not when I was not working with you.
Right.
I went to old Delhi, Chavdi Bazaar, and it was I wanted to sell for 10,000 rupees. Everything was done, and I went over there with my thing that please sir पैसे दे दीजिए, and he was like नहीं हो सकता इतना नहीं रहा. अगर मेरे को 10% डिस्काउंट दे दो तो
वो तो पुरानी आदत है, सब लोग डिस्काउंट मांगते हैं. आपने क्या किया?
I said दिया सर, दिया. I gave the discount. I said 10% डिस्काउंट देता हूँ आपको, पर सारा प्रोडक्ट मैं ही बेचूंगा आपको, सारा सप्लाई आपको मैं ही करूंगा और 3 महीने तक मैं ही करता रहूंगा. That is
100% supply.
Right.
Okay.
More than 100%, sir. And other point was मैं पैसा लूंगा अपना कैश और वो भी 15 देता हूँ मैं तेरे को, वहीं देता हूँ डिस्काउंट. The deal happened. I got a big order, and it was pretty win-win. I would say, but the point was that negotiation you have to order. You can never give a thing for free. If 10,000 रुपए का प्रोडक्ट 9,000 में बिना कीमत के दिया होता, अपने कट लेकर के. You believe me, sir. Next time जब मैं उससे 10,000 की negotiation करने बैठता ना, मैं 10,000 का फिगर लेके बैठा होता, वो अपने मन में 9,000 का लेके.
No, that is true. Actually, that is true. I think that's a wonderful example. Yeah, you not only you gave the discount, but in return you got a big order, and you got a better paying kind of credit kind of situation, which is great. Which is great. So दो हाथ से लेने का है, and that's great. Sort of.
दो हाथ से लेने का, थोड़ा सा मुंह पे भी दबा लेने का.
Okay, let me share one good example with you also. Now this is a nice one. Okay, it requires a little bit of drama, so let me kind of see if I can play the drama for you. Many years ago, I was going in for a big negotiation, and my boss was with me. And this boss was a very senior person, बुड्ढा था, old fellow. I mean, what people call me today.
ऐसे मत करिए सर, मैं कभी ऐसे नहीं बोलता हूँ, मेरा बॉस बुड्ढा है. क्या बात कर रहे हैं आप?
So he and I went to this negotiation, and he told me, listen, during the course of the negotiation, I might say a few things. बुरा मत लेना. So I was wondering, क्या बोल रहा है यार? What is he going to say? So I went into that negotiation, and we got talking, and so it came down, and we negotiated a discount, and the other party said, no, मेरे को 5% और discount चाहिए क्या? 5% more. So I was, and when I heard 5%, I said, no, sir, 5 तो ज़्यादा है, sir, थोड़ा आधा कर लेते हैं, कुछ कर. And as soon as I said आधा, my boss shouted at me, क्या कर रहा है, बेवकूफ? ऐसे ही दिन आउट दे दिया, और दे रहा है क्या? सफाया करा देगा. समझा कर यार, बॉस को क्या बोलेगा? अबे नौकरी से छुट्टी हो जाएगी. No, for those of us who are, not so familiar with Hindi, he said, you idiot. How can you go and commit even 2.5% more? And he screamed at me. And he says, you lose your job. Mind you, behave yourself. But I looked at my boss, But I want to ask you, Saurabh, what was the boss doing? Was he actually kind of, was this message directed at me or somebody else? What do you say, Saurabh?
The message was not for you, sir. The message was not for you.
Then?
Party to tell him to make this point that buddy iske niche nahi jayega.
Yeah, and he obviously couldn't shout and scream at the boss, at the other party. He could only scream at me. But basically, he said it to me, but the message was directed to the boss.
Correct.
This is a technique which is called blow hard, blow cold.
Right.
So you need to kind of go into that negotiation and you need to know who has to blow hard, because then you don't know where the customer is. You see, the customer then says, maybe, this guy, I asked too much. That's why this old man is, screaming at him. So okay, he behaves himself. So actually, that's a good technique.
But that's a good technique, sir. Now you act like a drama. Okay, I'll tell you one thing very, very peculiar to Indian customers. When I say Indian customers, I don't only mean confined to India, but probably everywhere where the culture plays a very important role.
Yeah.
In India, right, people are like kind of emotional. Okay, so you can somehow shed that mote asu, those crocodile tears. So it actually works a lot. आपने अपने वो आंसू दिखा दिए, अगर वो दिखा दिया ना, तो सामने वाले पार्टी को लगने लगता है कि जोड़ दिया, बिल्कुल देखा, रोते गया. People, those who don't understand, Hindi,
I see.
Tears, they are very important. Okay, it gives them a feel of the other party that I have taken, every bit of it from him.
Like they say, nichod ke liye right? Like
Exactly. Now that happens, sir, and I tell you why. Okay. अगर आपने डील बहुत अच्छी करी है और आप खुश होकर के गए ना, ये मन में रह जाता है कि वो इस तरह से निचोड़ नहीं पाया. I think it's may have that something in the back pocket. What do you say? Isn't it? This is a technique that we have also used many times.
That's right. The other side, if you go away with a smile on your face, the chap says, maybe this guy had more in his pocket, I should squeeze him a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think the point well taken. Good point. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. I think we've said a lot of good techniques. Okay.
One more thing. What? Ask the people here, because there are a lot of Indians here as an audience.
Yeah.
How many of them have actually used this technique? People don't use this mote asu, these crocodile tears, right? And those who have right now. Let's have a look at the chat.
Actually, sometimes, and I can see some remarks, given by Raghavendra also, it's you have to kind of fabricate some drama also into the next.
Right.
And I think it's well said. I think Raghavendra, what you're saying is right. I agree with you. You're saying the right thing. It is, you have to sometimes orchestrate.
Yeah.
So well said, Raghavendra. I'm with you. I completely agree with what you're saying. Okay.
Thank you,
okay,
sir.
So that's fine. Okay, so Saurabh, I have one more technique that I think that can work. I'm sure many people in this audience, they play patti.
Flash.
I can see Ranga. Ranga, you're a good patti player, I know. Ranga is a friend of mine. I can pull his leg. He's saying something, but you're muted, Ranga. So what is patti? Patti, we play, cards during Diwali. Yeah. Now, what has that got to do with negotiation? It's got a lot to do with negotiation. Listen, if you want to win at patti, you need to read what are the cards that the opponent is holding in his hand. I need to know exactly what cards. Supposing he's got 3 aces, I'd be a fool to double my stakes, no? I might have 3 queens. I'm not going to double my stakes. But if I know that he's only kind of, bandra hai, he kind of only, he doesn't have to go down, he's only kind of, bluffing, then I can certainly increase my stake. So the question then is, Saurabh, how do we know what are the cards, the other person has in a negotiation? Okay, in a patti, I can send some decoy, who can kind of, hold a mirror. That's
Are you talking about the khufia, sir? Are you?
Okay. That's
Right. I think very well quoted. Very well quoted. You
Okay.
need that khufia, and it could be anybody. When you go into a negotiation, it could be, I don't know, it could be the secretary, it could be the child,
That is right.
it could be the manager of the production. I don't know, anybody.
Some insider who can tell you after you went, boss, other party came and this is what he said. And after you went, they had a meeting and this is what they discussed. If I know that, then obviously I can kind of, realign my strategy, to discuss and interact with what I want to say.
Right.
So this is a good thing. In a big negotiation, you would be a fool if you go in blind. You must have some insider who will be able to tell you what are the discussions that are happening.
That is
So that's important.
especially for all the young negotiators. What Mukesh ji has said is a very valid point. I think we have been discussing a lot of I think we have got around 10 more minutes.
Okay.
We can take questions and other things.
I think there is one more thing that we need to kind of share with the audience. See, more often than not, the critical part of any negotiation is the planning that you need to do before you go into the negotiation.
Oh yes, completely agree.
Some of us, do not plan adequately well. Now, what is the planning? What are you planning? I'm sure you've done had some experience on this. Saurabh, would you like to kind of highlight what is the kind of planning that that a person should do?
I would love to do that, sir. I would love to do that. See, planning is a very important thing, and it is the part of the pre-planning, I would say. So you prepare and you plan. But what do you plan for? You plan for the unexpected.
Okay, and how do you do that?
You see, you need to have some strategy, some khufia around it. You need to plan things for what if this happens? What if the guy quotes a different price? What if says a no at the 12th hour? What would be the strategy there? So
that's right.
It's about the unplanned in the negotiation. Why don't you put some light with your experience?
So what you're saying is right. I was also saying the same thing. See, we got to think of a what if. What if he asks this? What if he says this? What if he says that, you need to kind of, add it into it. What if he says that, listen, I need to have, so much trade? What if he says you got to train my operators, along with the product that you supply? So we should be having, we should have done that arithmetic ourselves.
Correct.
So the more we prepare, and in this what if discussion, you need to kind of actually, consult your seniors, your colleagues, your peers, and involve as many people in that discussion as possible. Because I must tell you, Saurabh, even after doing all that, there will still be surprises.
Oh, there will be.
Yeah, because no matter how much you plan, there will still be occasions where that person will still spring up, pull a rabbit out of his hat. And you got to kind of, think on your feet also.
Well, I would tell you, sir, so this is the beauty of negotiation, okay? You don't shy away from it. The becoming from a normal negotiator to a Dhaka negotiator, my thing to you is that do not hesitate. Ever. The beauty of negotiation, that anybody pulls anything out of that, that's a wonderful situation. And as you grow old in negotiation, you try to enjoy it. You rather look forward for those uncertainties coming in, and you rather take advantage of that.
No, that's right. You're like,
aane do, beta, aane do. You are dhila, and I will, ek haath se de, aur sare haathon se le le.
Yeah, actually, the basic mindset, what you said, see, when you go into a negotiation, you should not think that you're going to kind of lose. You're going to go there and take something out. If you go there with a mindset that you're going to go lose and you're going to get a beating, then you'll dislike the idea of going to a negotiation. But you think that you're going to go there and you're going to win and get something out of it, then actually you might just end up, enjoying the negotiation. You're going to get something out of it.
Right.
So that's a parameter. Okay, I think we've kind of, said a lot of, given a lot of interesting points. I just want to end with one story, if it's okay with you. Okay?
It is lovely, sir. In this story,
Okay.
there is always, you mentioned, there is always this Gyani man.
Okay. Yeah.
Everybody,
my
you are
grey
that
hair.
Gyani man. Huh? So, of course, the ending story with the Gyani man would add so much curry and
Okay.
flavor to this session.
Yeah. No, so often negotiations break down.
Right.
And two parties kind of, are not willing to talk to each other.
Right.
Actually, that's a lose-lose.
Right.
The other party is lost and you lost.
Right.
And why does this breakdown happen? Actually, this breakdown happens largely because at some point in time, you have punctured the ego of the other side and the other side has punctured your ego.
Right.
And as a result, that prevents you from going back and talk to him. Okay, let me give you a very, very, very street side example. I go to a vegetable vendor, or my wife goes into a vegetable. She's a very good negotiator, so I must, use her example.
Wives are the good negotiators.
So she goes and she buys from a pavement vegetable seller. Says, okay, how much is this tomato for? Tomato ka bhav kya hai? And he says, that is, madam, 70 rupees a kilo. And madam says, 70 is too high. I'll give you 50. Are you willing to take 50? So what does the vendor say? No, madam. 70. I bought it at 70, 65. I'm going to give you at 50 rupees.
But that
Come on,
happens.
madam. But mumkin nahi hai. Sorry, ma'am. Sorry. So madam says that no, okay, maybe I'll up it by 5 rupees more. Says okay, chalo, aapke liye 55 rupiya, 55 for you. The vendor is stuck at 65. We're saying at 55. And then the vendor says, no, madam, not possible. And madam being, she's very smart. I must tell you, actually, she should be conducting this program. She begins to walk away. Huh? And
Right.
what do you think, that she's hoping?
But she's hoping that the guy is going to come down to the, same price.
Yeah, madam, aajo. Okay, But unfortunately, supposing he doesn't call madam back.
Oh, that would be.
So then will madam come back and says, "Acha, chalo. I mean, aapka bhi nahi, mera bhi nahi, 65 nahi, 55 nahi. Let's buy it. Let's agree on 60." You think
Yeah.
she would go back? Actually, I don't know about other people's wives. My wife won't do that. And why won't she do that?
So there is a
Because-
place safe, I think. Yeah.
She has lost her face. She walked away. That vendor didn't act. Aapka izzat kya hai if you go back?
Right.
She'll go and pay 60 rupees to the next fellow, but she won't go back to this fellow. Actually what we're saying is that even in a negotiation, you need to be able to leave the window open. If it's not making for you, you need to tell the other person, sir, look like today is not a good day. Let's stop it here. Maybe, we should, let me come back to you tomorrow. Instead of saying, no, not possible, I'm walking away. That would be the worst. Okay, so these are some, concluding words that I'd like to share. Okay.
You gave me a very, very good line. Sir. Maybe today is not a good day. It's a wonderful way of coming back, taking some time, easing off, cooling the situation, instead of saying that nahi ho sakta. Because
Okay, but now, Saurabh, we've talked enough, and I can see there's some very good questions on the chat room.
oh yes,
Yeah.
welcome, sir.
We need to kind of answer some of this. Okay? Huh?
Sure, sir. Sure.
Okay,
Let's take the
so somebody, Vikas, is saying that
I also have
that negotiation is Indian people is very important, and part of the drama is very important. Very
Oh,
in
yes.
every market is there.
Yes,
Guys,
yes.
looks like you bought a lot of vegetables. Right? What you're saying is right.
Oh man.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. No,
Do you see
so
some
the
more
fact
questions?
is that there are good questions there. Okay. So, okay, somebody is also, I think Chandan here has got a very important point here. He says, how do you differentiate? What's the thin line between honesty and tactics in negotiation? Okay,
Who better than you? Come on. You need to answer that. I would not answer that question if you are sitting.
Okay, Chandan, there is something known as a white lie. Yeah? There's something known as a white lie. Don't think that you can walk into a negotiation. Sir, here is my basket full of goodies for you, and I have given you the best price. Sir, please take it. Unfortunately, we deal with human beings. It's not that I'm not cheating him, mind you. I told you, I started off by saying it's a win-win. I have come here to help you, and you are in return have to help me.
Very
So
good.
it's a two-way thing. So I'm not here, I'm nowhere trying to suggest to you that go into a negotiation as a cheat. We are not cheats. Okay? But I must be able to know what are the factors and how can I help the other party. And I need to use some tactics. So let's not call it, cheating. These are tactics.